Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Team List Twist for round three. I'm your host, Ross, coach of the Benchwarmers, and today I'm joined by Brad. Welcome, Brad.
Hey, g'day everybody. Welcome to everybody. English Tuesday Freak Out Friday, except it's not Friday, it's Tuesday.
Oh, there's going to be a few freaking out, isn't there, Brad, mate? We'll get stuck into it and we'll have a bit of a chat about a few surprises, so to speak. So let's
right.
rip in, eh? So
let's not beat around. Let's get into it.
First game's the Broncos versus for the Panthers. So for the Panthers, just the one change. James Fisher-Harris is out injured. Lindsay Smith comes in the starting side with Matt Austin, who's coming onto the bench. And for the Broncos, Adam Reynolds is out injured, replaced by Jock Madden. Probably not too much to speak about here, Brad, in regards to Supercoach or anything really, right?
Well, the only thing is I'd be very wary of Payne Haas, looking at that reserves, etc. I'd be very worried about Payne Haas, either A, getting big minutes, or B, maybe not starting the game. He does have a knee injury. He does do this, though. He does play through these injuries. But at some stage, they will arrest him. So God knows. He did it last year. Remember late last year? Yeah. There was a couple of games where, he always gets named, but then all of a sudden on game day, of course, he's not there. So let's just see what happens. But, yeah, that could be a real issue there for old Paney.
Yeah. All right, next game, Warriors versus the Raiders. For the Warriors, Wade Eaton has been named to start at hooker. Freddie Lussick drops back to the bench. Oh, here we go for the Raiders. Ricky's roulette strikes again. Elliot Whitehead comes back into the team from injury, pushing Zach Hoskins to the bench. Seb Chris is out with concussion. Nick Kotrick replaces him, and Albert Hopeway shifts to the centres. Brad, I'm surprised the app hasn't crashed yet with these 17,000 people reversing their trades.
Well, I don't know. This is going to be a bit contentious, but I'm not really sure. And I think I spoke to you maybe about this. I'm not really sure if you're dead set keen on him. I'm not necessarily, but if you were keen on him to begin with and you want that 125, 135 cash rise, well, you're probably not going to get that amount now. It's probably more likely going to be about 100K if he only comes in with a score of 40. But 100K is still 100K. And then the following week, even if he gets another 40, he'll still get another price rise. So the price rises and juicy price rise is still going to be there. So the reason you're getting him is still valid. But Supercoach is all about point scoring. And are you going to get that point score that you want? Probably no.
And the good positive about it is it's only the second game of the round. So if you do trade him in and he doesn't end up starting, you can just reverse the trade to someone else. I mean, if he could be a late change and start, and then you're cheering. You know what I mean? So yeah. We just don't know what Ricky's going to do. I just think the way he's been playing, I'm just surprised that Elliot Whitehead's come straight back into the team.
Yeah, it's a bit different, but he does do different things, Ricky. Particularly, he does have a bit of loyalty too about him, and he sort of, but yeah, at least Zach Hosking has a bit of attack about him. Elliot Whitehead's a bit like another Smithies, isn't he? Like you got two of them there.
He's just a fighter
that are going to run up and down and tackle themselves to death. So
that's it.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, Roosters versus South. So for the Roosters, Zawai Wang's been dropped to the reserves. Nat Butcher comes in the starting side. Luke Huri's out with concussion, so Sandor Smith starts at 5'8", and Angus Butcher and Connor Watson come on to the interchange bench for South. Well, JD's pulled out the whip, mate. Lachlan Lewis has been dropped with Dean Hawkins to start. Sean Keppie's been benched with David Moali to start at prop. Jack Whiten replaces Richie Kenner in the centres, and then Jacob Host starts on the edge with Cam Murray moving back to lock. Shaq Mitchell gets dropped to reserves.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff there actually. But yeah. I don't have a lot of South players. I'm considering Latrell maybe, but maybe not. That's all very contentious of what I do there in the fullback. I just, Mole, I had him last year, like a lot of people. I did own him at one stage.
I had him as well.
He is an up and down plotter. He's almost a Tavita touches whole like clone in the way that he scores. He doesn't score outrageous offloads or anything else like that. He did look pretty good last week though, so I will give him due credit.
What do you
Yeah,
think about the fact that Buddy Tane Milne held his spot again over Jacob Gagai, or anyone else could have replaced him? I'm still confused by that one.
yeah, don't know. I really don't. Yeah, maybe he wants the versatility of somebody who can drift into centres or not. I don't know. Yeah, because Milne can also go into the second row if he wants, but he really doesn't have a bench that really allows that sort of thing to happen. So, because it's really a 4 forward bench. I mean, you got Havili, but he's not. What is he, a 10-minute hooker or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if South don't lift their game. I'll be surprised if JD sees out the season. Honestly, I really do.
Yeah.
Anyway, next game is the Dogs versus the Titans. So
Oh, wait a minute, mate.
yes.
The Roosters. Yeah, what about these Roosters?
Oh
There's
yeah,
a couple of shocks in there.
yes,
Sorry.
absolutely. Yeah.
Wong, let's start there. Wong, not even in there.
What's the go there? Because I actually thought he looked better than Tupanua.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know how Tupanua's held and Wong is left right out.
It'll be interesting to see if there's any late changes.
A lot of coaches will be hitting the trade button on that one, I think, though. So it's a scary. But we always said from the beginning of the year, there's a lot of mouths to feed in that particular department at the Roosters. So with all the butcher boys on there still and Crichton still around, a lot of mouths to feed.
Yeah. I've got Tupanua in my side, and I think I'll be moving him on at some stage. He's not a priority trade out for me this week, but something else pops up, he'll probably be gone for me.
Yeah.
So, all right. So the Dogs versus the Titans. So for the Dogs, Poasawa Fomawi, however you want to pronounce it, he's out injured. The plight of Liam Knight starts at prop. God, I don't know what Sam Hughes has got to do to get a start, but anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. Kieran Foran returns to the side. Tom Weaver dropping out. Jermaine Jolliffe starts at lock with Isaac Liu bench. Why the hell would Serrato start Liam Knight at prop when he could have stuck Curran or Sam Hughes at prop?
No idea. No, I don't. I don't have it.
I just don't get it.
I don't have
honestly.
a sensible answer for you there. Liam Knight looked awful in the trials. And I have caught a little bit of New South Wales Cup action around too. And I don't know. I don't know what. Yeah, maybe it's. Is he dating anybody famous at the moment?
He is, isn't he?
I think he might be.
He's dating that news reporter, Danica, isn't he?
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Danica Mason.
Any news is good news, maybe.
Oh,
so maybe it's got
gosh.
something. I don't know.
Mate,
But
dude.
yeah, I just. Yeah, I guess this week will be critical though for him. So if he is going to pull it out, Liam Knight, this will be the week to do it. But he's not really relevant for Supercoach there. What about the Titans? What have we got happening over here?
Well, foreign back obviously got to be good for the firmer owners. He might actually see some ball this week.
And Cleese Haas, for those that have got that cheapie there, he's got a starting spot again.
But I think they're saying Fafita could be back next week, so obviously he'll be gone then.
Yeah.
So
and Palacia, if anybody still has him, has come onto the bench. I think most of us got rid of him last week. I think so. Yeah, he's all gone.
Yeah. All right, Dragons and the Cowboys. So for the Dragons, Jacob Little is out with concussion. Jesse Marshy starts at hooker. Jack DeBellin moves to prop with Francis Molo out suspended. Tom Eisenhuth will start at lock, and Lucy starts on the edge. Viliami Fafita joins interchange bench. While for the Cowboys, Heelan Mookie's obviously out injured, replaced by Finafaku, whatever you want to pronounce it. And Jack Jetski joins the bench. Brad, what's your thoughts on a potential downgrade to Funafaki at about, I think he's only about 280K.
Look, I don't think he's. I think you'd probably be mad going it this week. I think you've got another week because there were a couple of little low scores there in that rolling average. So, if he is going to pull out a monster score this week, well, you've still got the following week to get on. And I think you'll have bigger problems in your team, won't you, to solve and to try and bring in another sort of cheapy second rower. Just like I said, you really do have another week on him, at least another week before you have to make up your mind. It is interesting that you've got a couple of very solid edge sort of players. So like Grzelski can go easily onto an edge, and so can Sam McIntyre.
Yeah.
So you do have sort of a fair bit of backup in that bench. So I don't think there's any way. I mean, what is he, 19? I don't think there's any way he's going to play 80 minutes.
Yeah.
But, you know, I could be wrong. He certainly, man, he looks a monster, man.
He's a big unit.
He's like Lolo was 7 years ago.
What's your thoughts on Tom Ison, who's Brad? Second row forward, centre wing dual, 356K starting at lock. Do you think he's an option, a potential option to trade in as a replacement for Lukey?
So what is he replacing?
He's playing lock. He's starting lock. So Jack de Bellin's moved to prop.
Yeah.
To cover Francis Molo, who's out suspended. So he could potentially go back to the bench after this week, though. That's the only thing.
Yeah. So I think there's your answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we've pretty much answered.
Yeah.
But with the amount of mid ranges and cheapies on offer, I'm not certainly. I think that's a risk way too far to take. But yeah, no, if you want to take it. But it is a risk.
All right, Tigers versus the Sharks. For the Tigers, Jaden Sullivan's been benched with Aiden Caesar to start. Alex Tefaf has also been benched. Bonu Pole starts at lock. Justin Olam makes his debut for the Tigers, replacing Stafford Toa, who's out injured. For the Sharks, Britton Nakora is out suspended. Jack Williams starts on his edge, and Royce Hart comes onto the bench. I think there's a bit to talk about in this game, Brad. Plenty of options here for the Sharks in particular. Obviously, Hines is a great captaincy choice here. Then you've got Mulatalo and also Talakai that are both options too. You could even go like any of the Katoa or Raymond even too here.
Any of them in the back five, I can't argue against if you're going to bring them in. Even Kennedy, anybody in that back five, if you're going to bring them in. Actually, nearly back seven, probably apart from Braden Trindle, it looks like he's going to lose cash this week. But apart from him, yeah, just anybody there. Yeah. Probably the one I'm very interested in. If you read my article, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Happen to catch it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and you've got the Teague Wilton there, which I highlighted in the article. It's man, I do like Teague Wilton's role. He started cracking pace so far this year, and I don't see any way that's going to be slowing down. He's getting good ball out there. And he's not passing. So that's what you want. You know, he's a bit like an Okolatu out there. He's running a nice line. He's not passing it. And if he does, there's occasional offload, but he's hitting the line and going for that white line fever. And without Brenton Nakora running around, well, you extra workload for him. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about him after when we discuss our trades, but he's definitely on my radar 100%. So, yeah, interesting. For the Tigers, I don't think there's really much here to talk about, Brad. Obviously, the one to keep an eye on is Galvin, just to see how he goes this week as a potential trade-in next week, maybe. For those who've got Strange in at 5'8", you could potentially move him down a centre wing and bring Galvin in if he looks okay.
And Fainu is, of course, the other one that is quite an interesting prospect, but it's not relevant this week because they've only played one game. Correct. Consider them next week. So not relevant. Yeah.
All right. So we'll go on the Eels versus Manly. So for the Eels, Blaze Talagi makes his debut, replacing Bailey Simonson, who's out with concussion. Morgan Harper moves to the wing. This is the big one here. Lusa Moretti replaces Brendan Hands on the interchange bench. For Manly, Tommy Talau's out injured and Raymond Vega starts for him. Brad, I think we'll all agree that probably Joey Lussick's pretty much a must-have now without a hooker on the bench.
Well, I don't know. We never like using the word must-have. You know,
we don't. But given
it's a scary word,
given his price and how much cash he's going to make, I think it's a perfect upgrade from Danny Levi. Yeah, for me. Okay. So,
no, he certainly has a lot of. Yeah, if you can do it, do it. I just wish I had 4 or 5 trades this week. Can we? Thanks, son. Wake up to yourself. Give me some more trades, son.
Thanks, if you're listening. Can we use 2 boosts this round, please?
I'll use 4. Ring it, give it to me. I want more.
With my rank I've got at the moment, I'll be happy to start again.
Yeah, no, give me 4 trades, man. Come on, bring them on. Yeah, no, Lussick is certainly Oh, well, how do I do it? What do I do there? Because I started with Levi. So if you started with Levi, you're
Mm,
really buggered. You know, if you have a look at Canberra, where we had a look at before, you know, Levi's pretty solid. He's getting half decent minutes. He's only going to plod along at a 30 to 40 rate, but that's enough for a few more price rises. Nothing like Joey Lussick, though.
mm,
For Manly, you've got Jackson Paulo comes back in there and back onto the wing, not really that relevant.
mm.
And Vega comes, Vega gets a starting spot because Tommy Talau, man, that guy has no luck. Has suffered and gone down with injury once more.
It's interesting though because they've actually named him on the extended bench. So maybe
Oh,
the
yeah.
injury's not that bad.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, yeah. I'm just looking now. Oh, that's interesting.
I think we just quickly speak about Sean Lane, Brad. For those who are obviously trading out Elam Lukey, I think obviously Sean Lane's a reasonable option to go to as well. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got about a 30 odd K, 30 to 40K, I think, price rise coming up. Yeah, I don't have Sean Lane.
I don't either.
But there's just so much yeah. Yeah, give me more trades. I'll bring him in, but yeah. You got to make those choices this week. Certainly. Luke Brooks is another, which
Yeah.
is going to be featuring in the top 10 most traded in, no doubt.
Who'd have ever thought we'd see the day when Luke Brooks is in the top 10 traded in Supercoach?
Yeah, I'm not sure of the validity of it, actually. I'm not sure. But, you know, he certainly does look freer and happy. And you know, I guess
Yeah,
that's, that's important.
that's it. Alrighty, last game of the round. Knights versus the Storm. For the Knights, Jack Hogger replaces Jackson Hastings, who's been dropped. Irana Tuala comes into the side with Greg Marzu out injured. He's gone for 4 weeks. Jaden Bradley comes onto the bench for the Storm. Jerome Hughes is out suspended. Tyrone Wishart starts in the halves. Kane Bradley joins the bench. And Tapai Moroa replaces Christian Welsh on the bench, who's out with concussion. Brad, do you a Ponga owner?
Yeah,
Or are you holding Ponga, Brad?
I'm thinking I am.
I think he's going to become a bit of a pod with 17,000
Yeah.
trading him out this week.
And look, I know he's got that ridiculous break even, but break evens go up, they go down. And yes, if you're just going to hold, just have a look at the Knights draw coming up, guys.
Good
Just
draw.
have a
Good
look.
draw.
And the draw is very, important. And the Knights do get a better run, particularly after round 5. Have a look at it. Yes, he might drop 70K here, and he might drop another 20K next week. He probably lose about 100 odd K. But Supercoach is also about scoring points. And if you want somebody who's going to score massive points, particularly in playing them at Donald Jones Stadium, that's my reasoning. It's gone through my head. And as you've just heard, I've got all these other trades I want to make. So is it really a critical thing for me to ditch somebody who was just going to be a hold for the year anyway? So he's there. He was never there to make money. So, whereas some of these other ones I'm moving on were there to make money and haven't, or are just absolute disasters.
I think 2 key points we need to bring up with these two Brady's. Number one, Jackson Hastings wasn't giving him a lot of ball. I think Jack Hogg is going to do that. I think the second one is you've got to remember no Munster and no Hughes.
Yeah.
As well. So I think he isn't a priority trade out this week. I know a lot of people are going to Pappy, which again I find strange. They've got a buy next week. Don't mind the trade to Teddy, but I'm not sold on the trade to Pappy. I just think without the goal kicking for 60K more, I think if you're going to get rid of him, I'd be going Teddy instead. No buy till round 14, I think, for the Roosters. Obviously, he'll be missing around about round 12 or whatever is for Origin, but I just think he's a better option.
Oh, look, I think, Jackson Hastings is a very experienced footballer these days. I know he's had his issues in the past. Jack Cogger was an absolute star as a junior. He then suffered about 3 years of just awful injuries. It just really curtailed a lot of his career. I've actually had the pleasure of meeting him. He used to coach my nephew's football team, and he's a cracking lad. He's a starting halfback. He went over to England, and he was very good over there. He's a starter, right? Yeah. And he proved that over at Penrith when he got some limited opportunities. if they want somebody with a bit of oomph and a bit of, I think he could get behind Ponga. Actually, I think he might go well.
Yep, definitely. All right, well, that's it, Brad. Anything else we need to discuss at all, do you think, in regards to trades? What are you thinking for
No.
trades this week?
By the way, just with that Knights one,
Mm.
the reserves bench too is very interesting. Will Price is lurking. So I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere there that Will Price manages to find his way, particularly Phoenix Crosland or Jaden. What's his name?
Jaden Brayley, yeah.
Jaden Brayley don't go as well as planned. Price might come onto the bench as a utility.
You've also got Dylan Lucas floating around in the reserves too.
Oh, holy hell!
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Could be
there's a
anything.
lot of pressure at Newcastle there for that starting team to actually do something. I do have Bradman best, so you're asking about trades.
Yep.
Bradman is going to lose just too much cash, and he's ceiling just look. It was a pod move. It was probably ridiculous.
Yeah.
Which it was. I do ridiculous things, and that was one. So him to Mulatalo is just a no-brainer for this week. I think that just stands out as a yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah.
It's just too juicy, and Mulatalo has about 60 grand's worth of price rises coming his way anyway. So the whole thing makes about 120 grand cash positive because with the 60 grand Best is going to lose and the money that he's going to make. I do have some troubles in 5/8 area, so I'm just not certain whether Luke Metcalf with Strange goes down, and for Hutcho, they get rid of Hutcho, and because Hutcho's just a spud, and it's proven that. That was a mistake. Mistake number 2 I made. So yeah, Strange will go down, and then do I go Metcalf or do I go Brooks? I actually really like Metcalf. I've been looking at the draw and everything, and I wouldn't discourage anybody who's considering going that way. About 100K, I think, cheaper than Brooks. He's certainly 450, I think, around about there. That's only off memory, but he certainly is one for me to consider. And then I've got to decide if I want to Teague Wilton at second row or do I just dump Harry Grant now for Freddie Lysick and go bugger it. Because Harry is going to lose a bit of cash and just go for the massive price rises out of Lussick and ride the Lussick train as a starting hooker. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't mind it. For me, it's Helam Lukey to Teague Wilton. It's going to be Drew Hutchinson to probably Xavier Savage, and the other one's going to be Marzu, probably down to Ronnie. But I'm still toying with the idea of hanging on to Levi and selling Harry Grant to Joey Lussick instead. But I will want to get Harry Grant back at some stage. But if I sell him this week, I probably won't bring him back till after Origin now. I don't want to bring him back in and then have to sell him, pre-Origin and then get him back again. So
yeah, but if you really want to go and hooker though, at some point you want. But mind you, Lussick's putting up scores like he's a gun. So
that's right. That's right.
Just like in 2021, we had to recreate what we thought about Supercoach and high ceiling players, and the whole ball game changed for us. Maybe this year there is a big change again, in the way that these benches are lining up. Like we never used to. I remember when we used to select our teams to start the year, the advice was always don't have any bench players. Make sure every player you've got in your 25 is a starting player. Well, this year is proving otherwise, right? Players like Josh Curran, Tyrell May, we're proving that a bench player can be equally as effective in point scoring and Supercoach as what a starting player can be. But that's because coaches are using them differently and are using that bench differently. And maybe this is the way the role of the hooker and the Cam Smiths just aren't out there at the moment. Damien Cook's fallen off a complete cliff. And Harry Grant's just really plodding along. Robson's just doing what Robson does.
Appy's obviously one to keep an eye on too, Brad, after his 80 on last week as well.
Well, that could be your option. Is it maybe in 2 weeks' time you could sell Levi and go into Appy instead?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be actually not a bad move. And you could ride that train. Hopefully Appy doesn't get selected for Origin, but you never know.
Captains for this week, Brad. What do you reckon? Hines is pretty much a lock and load for you against the Tigers. He is for me.
Well, he is. It would be if I owned him.
Well, so what are you thinking for captaincy this week, Brad, then?
I'll probably vice captain Cleary, is the logical one.
Of course.
And then the captain's choice can really, I've got multiple choices there that you can use. Most of them will be in the backs, either at full back, so Teddy, Ponga.
Could be even it could be a Teague Wilton, it could be a Mulatalo.
Absolutely, 100%. Like I'm ranked 90,000. Let's be
What
fair.
you got to lose, right?
I can fucking do anything. And I tell you what, if Latrell can get away with saying that word 20 times during an interview, and a few other more offensive things, I tell you what, don't get me started on that. You've heard me go on.
I don't have an issue with him not getting suspended, but he should have at least copped a fine for it, at least. I mean,
well, they should. Well, for the NRL to sit back and do nothing,
yeah,
and the club to do nothing, like not even barely a statement or a whisper.
Yeah.
And I do believe he used another word which is way more offensive than any of the F words, and probably more offensive than calling somebody a monkey.
Yeah.
There's a high population of Australians out there that suffer through a mental illness or a disability than what there is Indigenous, and yet you can get on there and effing call them S words and Anyway, that's just me. He's actually gone downhill again a bit further in my book, and I'll make no secret of that. I find that and the NRL I was very disappointed in. So
well, I'm at the Rooster South game on Friday night, so I might death ride him a bit, maybe with a bit of luck.
Look, I don't mind people in Supercoach being logical. If you're going to go Latrell, this is the week to do it. Get rid of Ponga, go Latrell. It's not a bad move. Let's be fair, Dinkum. Latrell has been scoring well without doing absolutely bugger all, but that's what he does.
Yep.
And gets junked 2 minutes before the end of the game.
That's it.
Somehow, like last week, was that like 50? What was that?
It was on like 30 points with 5 minutes to go, and he finished on 80.
Yeah, 78th minute, bust up the field.
Yeah.
60-meter run, tackle bust, line break, scores a try.
Yeah.
But anyway,
non-owners were cheering, the owners were laughing.
As I said, I want 5 trades to fix my issues if I could. But I could even just keep Best, and I could. Yeah, but that means I can't get Ronnie. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. There's a lot of choices out there. The good thing is, go into Supercoach, have a look at because the gold I think is still available for everybody for this week. And then if you haven't paid up your subscription, she disappears. So get in there this week. Have a look at your break evens. Have a look at your cash to be made. Don't just have a look at the cash to be made. Have a look at the cash to be lost. That's probably more important. So you've got to weigh up the both. Okay, this one's going to make 60 grand. That one's going to lose 60 grand. That's actually 120K positive to your team. You got to consider that. It's not just the one. You got to look at it all. But it's fun, and that's what Supercoach is. When we do it like this, it's fun to get into those stats and have a good look, and occasionally we get the right choice. Often we get the bad one. If you like me, right. If you like me this year, you get.
If you like Brad and he gives out advice and he doesn't follow his own advice, then you're all sweet.
A lot of players that I've given advice on this year and told everybody to get them, and I haven't got them. But fortunately, I brought May in last week. So finally, after spruiking him up all pre-season, I've actually brought him in. It was about bloody time. But do watch for late injuries as usual. There is a few issues, and we've pointed them out there. There's a few on the benches that are lurking.
I'll put a post up today. We'll do a buy, hold, sell post, which I'll put up later. Braddo, I don't know if he's going to have another article. We might even put up a post where you can post up your teams. If you want any help, just comment on the post, put your side up. We'll jump in when we can get a chance, and more than happy to help you guys out. That's what we're here for. We might not be going great guns this year ourselves, but we're here to help you guys.
Well, we just have fun with it. And look, I captained Lomax last week, but I did that just for shits and giggles. Let's be fair, Dinkum. That was just fun. That was all that was. So, and you got to be like that sometimes with Supercoach. Just go, okay, well, I wonder if this could actually work. Obviously didn't, but like it was quite a watching him get absolutely dominated down that edge.
Yeah, he certainly did.
But he still scored 40 points somehow. So
Yeah.
hopefully, I think
he still nearly scored as many as Turbo.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. All right.
All
Well,
right.
thanks, Brad, for jumping on. Appreciate it. Thank you for everyone for tuning in. Thanks again to our sponsors, Bluebet. Jump on board. You make a deposit, get in contact with me, and we'll tee you up with some bet matches. So, guys, let's get behind and support the sponsor who gives out all these bonus bets for nothing. So, thanks again, guys, and have a great round. All the best, and we'll see you on Sunday night for the round 3 wrap. Till then, have a good evening. Thanks,
Have
everyone.
a good evening. Don't forget, gamble responsibly. Go check out Bluebet. Gamble responsibly. Know what you're losing, and have a good evening. Rage
Cheers.
trade away.
Bye.